Good afternoon, everyone. This is Daniel Popovic. Welcome to another episode of Every Pop Rent, Every Story. I am your host, and see, Liana, I've messed up already right out the gate. But for you new listeners, what this podcast is about is quite simple or little for kids, talking about our pets, our dogs, our cats. We invite families in to talk about the joy they bring. So hopefully you'll come in here, hear some of these stories. You may laugh, you may cry. We do talk about pet loss. It's inevitable and it's a profound impact. Hopefully you'll get inspired. There's a lot of amazing inspirational folks that have been on this show, starting up businesses, getting them through the days. It's phenomenal. But most importantly, really feel supported throughout your journey and whatever journey or phase you are in currently with your fur kid. I'm super excited today to welcome in Liana, new family to our show. So Liana, good afternoon for me, good morning for you, right?
Right.
So welcome to the
Yes.
show.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
So Liana, just for the listeners, Liana and I previously met, so we'll say it. We'll save the teaser for the end of the podcast. But I'm excited to kind of get into that, but then just really talk about the fur kids, right? So let's start there. How many do we have a part of the family today?
I have Ellery now, so just one senior dog. He's 16. And I've had four that have passed, who are also very close to my heart. And I consider them part of my everyday life as well. But Ellery's my current living baby. And he's a Yorkie mix,
Okay.
but kind of big for that. So he's 20 pounds. So not everybody thinks Yorkie when they look at him. But he's super sweetheart and, a really great companion.
So you said 16.
He's 16.
16. Okay. And say the name again, because wow, that is an unusual name.
Yes, it's Ellery, Ellary. And it's actually a name that older people tend to recognize because there was a mystery author, Ellery Queen,
Huh.
that was popular, and I don't remember exactly when, but yeah, it's a newer name to a lot of people.
Very cool. Oh, no, I love the story on that one. That's cool. I'll definitely have to look that up. Glad you said older people. So I feel older, but I don't recognize that name. So maybe I'm still younger.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
probably younger than that.
and Ellery, right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I'm probably messed that one. So how did Ellery become a part of family? What's the story
hmm
behind that?
hmm So, my now ex-wife and she and I are still really good friends. She's an active part of my life too, and in part because the pets kept us together. But she and I had two cats, Aster and Sage, and decided we wanted a dog. She was always gunning for a dog, and I kind of reluctantly grew to like, okay, a dog would be fun. And we looked and looked and looked and met tons of dogs. And finally, we're on the way to a pet shop pet, yeah, I guess they are called pet shop, but not selling pets, a pet store that sells
Right.
supplies. And they had a rescue event, and there was a dog that didn't have a very thorough profile and had kind of a distant picture. So on the way there, I was like, you know what? If this doesn't work out, I think we should just pause looking for a dog right now. I don't think this is the right timing. And then we went there. It was in Los Angeles, and I saw him and I knew he was mine. I mean, it was just love at first sight. This is my dog. And he has reddish hair, and I have red hair. And that felt like a connection. He has the most gorgeous brown eyes. He is just, yeah, love at first sight, knew that that was my dog. And Jenny, my ex-wife, was just like happy with like me saying yes to a dog. So, she was instantly on board too. But yeah, he's a heart dog. I've got soul pets and heart pets, and he's definitely a very strong heart dog.
Interesting. I'm glad you said that. So I had a different, but that's going to lead to my next question. So
Mhm.
difference between soul dog, heart dog.
So I think a lot of people use them interchangeably, and I totally respect that. Maybe people that don't feel connected on a soul, like just soul isn't a word that they connect with, tend to use heart. But the way that I think of it is my heart animals are just, I just fill with so much love. They exist in my heart, love them with my full heart. They're not like less than my soul animals, but I feel a stronger spiritual connection with, and really it's been two cats that I've had as soul
Okay.
cats.
Okay.
Um, I call them soul kitties. But yeah, I've had two dogs and one cat that I consider heart animals. But that's just my lingo. I don't
Yeah.
know that anybody connects with those.
No, no, I love it. I had to ask that. So yeah, because I
Yeah.
hadn't in these interviews I've been doing, you're the first that's mentioned that. So that's awesome.
Mhm.
Um, Now, so I know you touched on this when we previously met, but sharing for the listeners, like what are some, I don't think you mentioned you take a lot of vacations with Ellery, but like well, correct me if I'm wrong if I misheard that, but like what are some of the, maybe what are some of the fun outings or common
Mhm.
routines that you
Mhm.
guys do together?
Yeah. So he's never been on a vacation. He actually, unless you count visiting family, my ex-wife and I used to travel from Los Angeles to the Bay Area with two cats and two dogs and a full carload of stuff in this like Toyota Echo that fit absolutely everything you could possibly imagine, even when you didn't think it would fit.
That's
So he has been on the road quite a few times, but not on vacations. He has some issue. You know, he's lots of rescue. I don't want to give a bad rep to rescue dogs because I think a lot of rescue dogs have excellent behavior and are, you know, just like any other dog. But he's got some issues. uh,
okay.
love him with my whole heart, including, you know, the little bit of troubles he has. But he actually, his anxiety isn't as bad as it used to be, but he had pretty severe anxiety. And he could be a little reactive. Again, not so much, he's aged out of some of that.
Right.
And then some other issues that I don't talk about as much.
Okay. I won't ask.
But yeah, he was always super healthy. Now he has some health issues. But yeah, not so much travel. But we go on daily walks. I now call them sniffs. I actually wrote a Substack article about that. He is so slow these days, so they're more of like a meditative time than an exercise time.
Okay.
But yeah, daily walks, a great way to connect. He was hiking with us for a little bit after my slower or you know, previously elderly dog passed, but he just slowed down so much. It's hikes. And really, I think his favorite thing in throughout the day is to be in my office. So he is always trying to convince me to go to work. And when I work on a day off, which I'm in my office today and it's a day off, he is just like so happy. It's like you know, the best days are work days because he just loves snoozing on my office floor. I work from home and can't imagine going back to the office because, or, you know, an in-person office, because I think he would just be devastated that we would
Right.
spend time. I mean, it's really like if I go down the hall, he trots forward and tries to get me to come in the office. And then if I turn to the bedroom, he's like disappointed.
Oh, that's
So
fun.
I will say, I think that's a highlight of his day.
Okay. Just keeps wrangling you to get into the
Yeah,
office.
exactly. Get to
And,
work.
and he's in there with you right now, I'm
Yes,
assuming.
he is.
Okay.
He's snoozing on the floor. Um, very content to be I'll call him working. He's my coworker, and he snoozes on the job, but that's like his task for the day.
Huh. Oh, I love it. The one thing as you were talking about the story with the cats, the going up to the bay,
Mhm.
the reactive, how did he handle like driving in the car?
Oh my gosh, he was so anxious driving in the car.
Okay.
So we had the cats sharing a kennel and Zyla, our other dog, in a kennel. And, you know, obviously it's a not, it wasn't a van. So Ellery had to sit on our laps in the front and he would just
Huh.
pant the whole time. He would cry. I mean, it was really like, you know, an 8 hour drive of a stressed out dog. And we would stop and I mean, it was yeah, and now he actually rides in the car just fine. So it's he's grown in his life.
Right. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
actually the only baby that I've gotten as an actual baby. He was 9 months when we got him,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I have a preference for getting older pets. Not such a kitty and puppy person. So I think that was a reinforcement that I'll be getting older pets in the future. But
It,
yeah,
yeah. I, Marley was a puppy. So yeah, it's definitely a different stage of life
yes,
that you've gotta, that first year, you better come with some game and not persistent, but consistency.
yep,
There's another word I'm looking for, endurance, right? Because yeah,
yeah, oh
they're
yeah.
gonna test you.
And Ellery had the worst separation anxiety ever. We could not leave the house without him absolutely freaking out. So we literally, one person was home all the time. And that's why we got Zyla.
Okay.
And immediately his separation anxiety ended as soon as he got another dog. And then she started crying when we left. So it
Oh,
was
that's
like,
funny.
oh no. I mean, they ended up being fine, but it was funny the first, like, oh my gosh, we got a dog for separation anxiety, but the dog has separation anxiety.
That's
So,
okay.
yeah.
So you had Ellery, then you got Zyla.
She was,
Okay.
so the order of the pets is actually Aster, who's a soul kitty of mine, and she's a rescued Devon Rex. And I grew up with Devon Rexes that were from a breeder, and I didn't want to get a pet from a breeder, so I was thrilled when I found Devon Rex from rescue. And then we got Sage, who was a Sphinx rescue. So we had a little naked boy, and he was more monkey than cat. And then we got Ellery, and then Zyla. And then after Aster passed, we got Saren. And he's another soul kitty of mine. And he was a senior. So he was actually the age that Aster would have been if she hadn't have passed. He was 14. And we had him for less than two. And I say we, he actually went with me during the divorce. But oh my gosh, that love at first sight. And I think a lot of people don't think that for senior pets, but the connection was absolutely as strong to him than any of my other babies. I mean, he was such a great cat.
So I love the names because yeah, you're testing my ability to go back and pronounce them.
Uh,
What's the story behind the names here?
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. So Aster came with her name.
Okay.
And it means star in Greek, and it's also a flower. So she had a nature name.
Okay.
And then
Cool.
we got Sage and picked a nature name for him too. And then Ellery, we wanted a nature name, but didn't name him a dog or a flower or a plant. Ellery means alder tree grove. So that was his nature connection. And then we got Zyla and named her, and Ellery, I don't remember if I said this, but his name when we got him was Doggy Dog. So he absolutely was getting a new name.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right.
but Zyla, she was Peapod, so also desperately needed a new
Oh,
name.
that's funny.
Although that was nature oriented, but I just can't imagine calling a dog like Pea. I mean, so she became Zyla, which means woodland creature. Um,
Okay.
and then Saren came with his name. It also meant star, which kind of felt like an Aster connection to me. I see the two as connected. I really feel like Aster brought me to Saren. So he's 14. He could have been Peapod and we would have kept his name as a senior.
Right.
But yeah, so they're all, Saren, I still think that's the natural world. We're thinking of stars up there, even though it's not plants or woodland or something like that.
So, like you said, so obviously these fur kids are gone today.
Mhm.
Um, were all of them, and go back again, I know you said it. Which ones again? All of them were seniors, except
No,
for
so we got Aster at age 2,
okay,
Sage at age 3,
okay,
Zyla at age 2, and
okay,
Saren at age 14. So they were adults, but not seniors.
okay. Saying just really more of your older,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And then how long did we get to have Saren as a part of the family coming in
Yeah,
at
it was
14?
less than 2 years.
Okay.
I had him less than 1 year where I'm living now. It's actually kind of a funny story. I don't know if my ex-wife would like me to tell this, but I will anyway. Um, so I desperately wanted him, but Ellery really isn't good with other animals. He gets a dominance issue and will pounce on them. So it really didn't feel fair to bring Saren. But gosh, my heart wanted him so bad. And so I ended up getting Ellery training. And he was around the other cats, but Sarah, as a senior, I didn't really want to introduce him to dog pouncing on him because the other cat, when they weren't he wasn't injuring them, they would get over it in 30 minutes.
Right.
But as an older cat, that seems like a horrible thing to introduce into your life. So I got Ellery training after I saw we actually I evacuated, and we've had lots of fires in Santa Rosa. And in 2020, I evacuated to my ex-wife's house, even though we weren't together anymore. And Sarah did not care about the dogs at all. They were separated by a gate, but he just was like, whatever. So it kind of gave me reassurance that maybe I should bring him. And oh gosh, I mean, the people in my life were so tired of me hearing back and forth over whether or not to take Saren, because he seemed fine with Jenny. But I got Ellery some training and ended up bringing Saren over. And he was just thrilled to be with me. Oh my gosh, he chatted so much. He just rubbed all against me. And this is, meanwhile, while he was living with Jenny, I visited him like 3 times a week. Like I was like obsessed with him still. But he was so thrilled to be here. And then he actually switched to hissing and hiding from Jenny when she would come visit, which was
Huh.
devastating to her because she
Right.
loved him too.
Right.
But he, I think, just was like, there is no way I'm going home with you. This is my home. I am so happy. And Ellery never pounced on him. He lived here for less than a year, but it was less than a year. And I tried to keep them separate still, like, and have Saren be a half house cat, and he just refused. So it was like getting them near each other. And I think I kept Ellery on a leash and kept him close to me while I was transitioning to Saren being out. And I think Ellery thought I was protecting him rather than protecting Saren, because when Saren would come out, Ellery would come to me, kind of
Huh.
like, oh my gosh, that cat.
Oh, that's
So
funny.
yeah, but anyway, it all worked out, and I had Saren with me for as long as, the rest of his life. And when he passed, obviously, it's hard to lose any
Right.
pet that you really connected with.
Right.
And I've been really connected with all of them. But yeah, very grateful that I got to have him here with me every day instead of just 3 times. And I think Jenny probably would have gotten tired of me coming 3 times a week eventually. I actually did still visit Sage once a week. Sage is her soul family. He's my heart baby. But once a week, I went and cuddled him. And honestly, it was like his dream hour because he just wanted to be cuddled and loved. And he's like, finally, she's just giving me attention for a straight hour. So. And I think that's a large reason why Jenny and I are so close to be friends, because during the divorce, we were still seeing each other. And it was during COVID, so we were like the only people that could see each other. But yeah, he passed about a month before Saren did, and I was actually with him when he passed. Actually, Jenny and I have both been with all of them the moment that they passed.
Okay.
When Zyla was rushed to the hospital, I made sure to call her in the middle of the night, and she was able to
Yeah.
come. So we've remained close to the pets, even though they don't live with each other and, whatever, whichever direction. But yeah, with each other too. And I think Sage is part of that.
So it sounds like in listening to you, all of these fur kids were a part of each other at some point in their life.
Yeah.
Now,
So
but
Aster and Sage never knew each other. Or sorry, Aster and Sage knew each other. Aster and Saren. So we
okay.
got Saren after Aster passed, but I've always
Okay.
seen them connected. Like I really feel like Aster brought me to Saren.
Right.
So yeah, and their names both mean star, and they're both soul kitties for me. So I still think of them as connected, even though they
Right.
never knew each other in the flesh.
Did so it was three cats, two dogs.
Exactly.
Okay. And so then if Aster didn't know Sarah, and obviously Aster and Sage were with each other.
Oh, so loved each other. I mean, just I probably Sage loved Aster. Sage was, like I said, more monkey than cat. He had a lot of energy and could definitely annoy Aster, but they cuddled like crazy. I mean, I have the cutest pictures of them. I have pictures of them all over the house, but one of them I have is of them just cuddling together. So they were really close. And he mourned her so strongly when she passed. And that's actually when I became most connected with him.
Okay. No, I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask you that. Because we had two. They were brothers, and they were no, they weren't brothers, they were sisters.
Mhm.
It's been a minute, but yeah, when one of them went, the other one shortly followed, and there
Mhm.
wasn't much we could do to. I
Yeah.
mean, I think they were both probably 15, but it was just you saw the one lost the soulmate,
Yeah.
and they just did. Was there a similar experience with yours, or not so much?
So they definitely mourned, but their health didn't, they were sad, seemed sad. And
Yeah.
actually, as much as Ellery could be a pain in the butt toward the cats, he was the biggest reaction when Aster died. We've had wakes for all of the pets and kept them at home with their bodies and shown the other pets so that they'd understand that they died. And when he saw Aster's body, he nudged it and started like screaming out. He
Hmm.
was like really upset when Aster died. And not long after, he started having night terrors. So I think that first death for him was the hardest, even though it's like a cat and a dog.
Right.
Um, and then other animals, he's been less extreme about, I think, probably because he had that first loss and,
Okay.
recognizes it more.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to ask you that with Zyla if there was
Uh-huh.
a similar, but I guess to your point, if he had already experienced it, maybe he knew what was
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. And he loves big and only dog. I mean, we couldn't do that when he was a puppy because of his severe separation anxiety. But I am honoring his wishes and keeping him as an only dog, although that is so challenging because my heart has so much room for other pets, and I really crave a multi pet household. Like that's so much what I want. And yeah, so he's gonna be an only dog, unless like I don't know. That's my commitment to him. So
Good. No, that's good, fair. And then I think you mentioned it too. So he doesn't really have separation anxiety as much anymore now that he's older.
nope.
Okay.
Fortunately, yeah, and he's just much calmer as an only
Yeah.
dog. Like I said, he had dominance issues, so every now and he'd be fine sometimes, and then every now and then he'd get a chip on his shoulder and start like standing over the other animals and stuff, which really I don't want to bring in another animal and have them
Right.
experience that. And he's just calmer and, seems so content. So it's for him, not for me, that I'm keeping him as an only pet.
Yeah. No, definitely understand that. And then talking about, yeah, like you were saying, the anxiety, separation anxiety, and that's the reason you got Zyla to kind of
Yes.
help with that. And it sounds like in the beginning it worked, but then Zyla ended up getting
No,
separation
it ended
anxiety.
up being fine. It's just when we brought her home, like the first couple times she cried, and then we were like, oh no, like did our new dog get separation anxiety too? But it actually didn't end up being a thing, but it
Okay.
was a fear when we first brought her. And she's actually funny because we did not want a Barker. She's a poodle mix, and we brought her home on a trial basis because we did not want a Barker. As soon as we loved her, committed to having her, she became the biggest barker in the world. I mean, oh my gosh, she just would not shut up. It was like a constant conflict with her, trying to get her to be quiet out the window. So, once you love them, you accept a lot of things about them that you wouldn't necessarily have if you knew the full story when you got.
Right. Well, and maybe they're smart that way too, right? They're like,
Yeah,
I'm
right?
just gonna wait to do my barking until you're
Exactly.
good. And now that I know that I'm good, I'm gonna
Invested.
start. Yeah. And remind me, how old was she? So she was 2 when you got her?
Yes. And she
Okay.
died at, I think she was 15. It was 2022 when she passed.
Okay.
And she was very elderly for a long time. All of my pets have had quite a bit of caregiving needed throughout their lives. Um, it's not only at senior years or terminal stages that pets need caregiving. Sage had IBD, Aster had recurrent mammary cancer. I think, it's for some of us, it's a lifelong thing with our pets, which is part of why I'm passionate about serving pet caregivers. It's been an intimate part of my life.
It almost feels like a teaser or lead in to tease the audience with what's coming next. Should we give them a teaser of what's coming next?
Sure, happy to. So I'm starting the private practice, Heartmore Pet Guardian Wellness. And my website is petguardianwellness.com. Right now it directs to my Substack, but it will direct to a coaching group I'm opening this fall in October. And it then will eventually open up to my website. So petguardianwellness.com is where you'll be able to find me indefinitely. And in the fall, I'm opening a 6-week coaching group, navigating pet caregiver strain with resilience. And it's going to be a structured group that covers synchronization with your pet and their needs and your needs. It's going to cover sleep, which I think a lot of caregivers really struggle with. Um, Fear and guilt. Those are such, almost universal experiences to caregiving. And anticipatory grief, which is, really prominent topic too. So, and we'll have an intro, talk about our values and what we're really aiming for in our pet caregiving, as well as taking care of ourselves. It's so essential to take
Right.
care of ourselves while we're caregiving. Even if our priority is our pet, like you can't do that unless you're caring for yourself too.
Right.
And then we'll wrap things up in the last session. So it's going to be a new experience in the world. I don't know that there's other pet caregiver groups that have been created. So I'm really looking forward to providing that service. And I have a lot of experience as a board certified health and wellness coach. So I'm bringing that expertise to pet caregiving now.
No, that's awesome. And we'll definitely, as you mentioned, we'll definitely get those links. We'll add them to the description of the podcast, the article that goes out so folks can easily find you. And then
Great.
the timing of, yeah, when this goes out is will be close to when you're launching. So that'll be great. And then you'll probably have like an ability for folks to kind of pre-register or reserve a
Yes.
spot or something.
Registration will open at the end toward the end of August. And I'm
Okay.
actually going to do a workshop first that will kind of introduce people to the concept of the group and setting values for what like a guiding principles for what you want to set big picture for your pet. So that'll come out the day that the group launches for its registration.
And you touched on a little this already, but I'll ask it again, or I didn't ask it, but like, and this is phenomenal. That's why I'm love doing it, love doing this, love meeting folks like you. What's been really the drive and the inspiration behind doing this?
Well, I mean, really all of my pets. I've had caregiving moments with all of them, throughout their lives, like with Aster and Sage in particular. And Saren in my, brief years with him was always a senior. Um, and Ellery now. So really it's an honor of them. Like I said, they're all still very present in
Awesome.
my life. I don't
Yeah.
consider them, past in a big sense. So think about them every day, and really driven to do this in honor of those, special relationships I've had with them.
No, that's awesome. And I know we're getting close to time. You mentioned, and I got probably 2 more questions I'll ask you. We'll definitely close, but you mentioned sleep. Is it from the aspect of, well, it's probably both, but obviously the importance of the caregiver getting proper
Mhm.
sleep to be able to be rested to care for the pet.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. And that's really the crux of what I'm doing is really focusing on pet guardian wellness and our own wellness in order to care for our pets. And you have to synchronize the two. It's not something that you can successfully caregive when you're super drained. I think all of us
right.
have had moments where we haven't slept and have snapped at our pets. I mean, I think that's uh, probably a fairly universal experience when we're sleep deprived. And so really, being not to say that our wellness isn't important in its own right. That certainly is true. But I think a lot of us pet caregivers tend to give and give and give and
Right.
not take care of ourselves. And our priority is our pets, but our priority, needs to be ourselves too when we're doing that, or we really can't be there for our pets. So, sleep is actually a topic. By the time this comes out, I'll have written a Substack article on
Oh,
it.
nice. Okay.
So it'll have some clear strategies, and some of them, are more general sleep strategies, but some of them will also be specifically pet oriented. So I hope people check that out.
Well, I definitely will, and I'll share it back as to your point. Just as most recently as this week, you mentioned IBD a minute ago. Not that, I mean, we had some interesting bouts with two different
Mhm.
fur kids every 2 hours, and I'm like, you go to bed at 10, and at midnight you're up, at 2 o'clock you're up, at 4 o'clock you're up. I'm like, oh goodness. And then you got a rest of 2 days, you're getting 2 days of sleep, and then all of a sudden a different fur kid is having the same issue. It's like, oh my
Yes.
gosh. Um, so yeah, I'll definitely read that.
Mhm.
And whatever I can do on my end to help, get folks, get the buzz, get the awareness. Um, and then on, so as we kind of close this out, I know you've kind of touched on quite a bit of us, and without stealing too much into what it is you're doing, just from your experiences, your journeys, I guess what advice or inspiration, maybe advice would you give other
Mhm.
pet families, caring for their fur kids?
Mhm. Mhm. I think for that, I'd really go back to that synchronization issue and it's not just our pets and ourselves, it's also the vet. We get so much advice from our vets that's so valuable, but implementing it isn't always possible. And we also
Right.
need to be the best advocates possible because we do know our pets best. So synchronizing, this medical care and your pet's well-being and your own well-being is really important, and that's the service that I'm providing, is to be able to help people navigate that.
Awesome. No, that's great. And yes, thank you again for being on the show today. Excited to get this out there. Excited to see, yeah, where you're going next with the toolkits, what you're working on. But again, listeners, be on the lookout. In the description of the podcast, we'll have information in there to find Liana, to register for the events, and then we'll also have it within the article, the links to go again, find your website, find the Substack. But again, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. This has been my pleasure.